This is Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights, presented by the Gomez Law Firm.
It is homecoming in Converse, Texas. Robert Anderson's got the ribs on the grill. He and his 93 state championship teammates celebrating their 30th anniversary of that state title. Frank Arnold and the 83 team celebrating the 40th anniversary. Of course, D.W. Rutledge, a part of both of those state champions. They named the stadium after him, and tonight, the Judson Rockets host the Clemens Buffaloes. Good evening, everybody. Don Harris in the press box. Chuck McAtinnick down on the field, as always. And Chuck, a very special night for the Judson Rockets as they celebrate these two anniversaries, celebrate homecoming, but also have a big district game against a district rival.
Yeah, Don, it's almost like a collegiate atmosphere down here. There's so many people here from all walks of life down here to celebrate not only what has happened here at Judson High School, but what's happening here tonight. I mean, this is a really big ball game between two really good teams. Both squads, Clemens and Judson, coming off league opening wins. So this is going to be a nice jockeying game as we take a look at the 27-6A standings. I talked to Mark Soto, the Judson head coach, before the game, and he goes, make sure you throw the records out for this one. It's like, yes, coach, we're 2 steps ahead of you. When you have Judson and Clemens get on the field at the same time, good old-fashioned backyard brawl, we know we're in for a whale of a ball game here tonight.
And we also know we are going to see elite athletes. We start with the Buffaloes and Paul Mankey, who is a big-time college prospect.
Indeed he is. I mean, this young man, Don, has gotten offers from Notre Dame, Stanford, and Washington State, but he's settled on going to Duke University. But this guy, great size, what an athlete, and when he comes with real bad intentions. This is one heck of a football player. Paul Mankey Jr. coming from really good bloodlines, and we'll get into his lineage as the night goes on.
Yeah, and he'll be trying to bring down a very tough running back. Judson's Nate Stanley, also not only a San Antonio Sports All-Star, but he's headed to the Air Force Academy.
Yeah, Don, we're talking about not only beautiful players, right, but the beautiful mind. I mean, Nate Stanley, this guy, what can you say about him that hasn't already been said? A heck of a football player, great in the classroom. They talk about this guy's level of intensity on the field, but he's a gym rat off the field, loves the game of football, and Mark Soto told me as he goes, we go. This guy, a leader on the field as well.
This is going to be a very special night here in Converse, Texas. It's homecoming for Judson. It's Clemens and Judson, and when we come back, we will have our Gomez Law Firm keys to the game on TNN. Welcome back to Rutledge Stadium. It's Clemens and Judson here tonight on TNL. It's homecoming. The Rockets are fired up, and we're about ready to get this one underway. Let's go down for our national anthem. Here's PA announcer Milton Hope.
Great game tonight, beautiful weather, and you got great food and drinks as we prepare for tonight's kickoff. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask those that are able to please rise and remain standing for the presentation of the United States colors presented by the Judson High School Junior ROTC Color Guard. This evening, the Junior ROTC cadets presenting our colors: the U.S. Guard, Cadet Major Tisha Baling. The U.S. flag, Cadet First Lieutenant Maria Bernhardt. Carrying the Texas flag, Cadet Airman Zariah Kelly. And the Texas Guard, Cadet Technical Sergeant Alexa Serrano. Please remain standing and remove your hats as the Judson High School Choir pay tribute to our great nation, our men and women in uniform throughout the world, and all of our veterans with the singing of our national anthem under the direction of Elizabeth James.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so
Coverage of tonight's national anthem is sponsored by the Vietnam Army Grunt Museum. Game Time Weather is sponsored by Air and Plumbing Today.
Man, it's a perfect 84 degrees for football night at Converse D.W. Rutledge Stadium, Judson and Clemens. Our Rhino Roofers kickoff will be fielded right at the goal line, and the Clemens Buffaloes bring it out across midfield and break it. Across the 35 to the 40, down the sideline, and gone. An opening night touchdown return for the Clemens Buffaloes. Christian Dupree, the wide receiver, took it in and took off.
Well, one of the keys to victory for this Clemens Buffalo team tonight, Don, special teams. And what do you know? Opening kick, Christian Dupree takes it a hundy to start this game, and speed to burn. Very well done for Clemens coming out and firing the first shot here tonight.
Our first opening night kickoff return for a touchdown for the season on TNL, as Clemens quickly says, "Hey Judson, happy homecoming."
And you're not kidding, lightning in a bottle. I mean, we're just trying to settle in here, and hey, we got us a football game here to start. There we go. You got to win the turnover battle tonight for Jared Johnston's bunch. We talked about the special teams. It was interesting because Jared Johnston was worried about Judson's returnees, but he got him one from one of his guys. And then you got to be patient tonight, Don. On offense, if you get some 3 and outs, don't worry about it. It's a long game. And then on defense, you do not want to give up any home runs.
Yeah, that shades of Freddie DeBose. Remember that young freshman from Clemens that we had a couple of years ago?
Well, we knew we were going to get athletes all over the field, and it's always nice when you start a ball game right there with a little firework explosion.
Look at Chris Kotfus. He's got the flashback. Watch out. Freddie has since transferred to Smithson Valley.
A sprint. Forget that angle. You ain't going to get him. Touchdown, Clemens!
2 years ago on TNL. How good is Chris Kotfus? And the boys in the truck, man. Say it here, comes out there. Judson will try to answer. Here's Miles Davis. This kid is a Texas A&M commit. He is the real deal. He finds a seam. He's breaking it across the 30 to the 35. He's still on his feet.
You gotta
Watch
be kidding
out.
me.
Davis to the 40. Gets a block. Got to get one more. Touchdown. Judson answers. Are you serious?
Just when you thought you'd seen it all. $101. I see you, Clemens. You got a hundy? We got a hundy and some change. Look at this one. And then Judson setting it up really nice there down at the end. I didn't know if Davis was going to be able to score it, because it looked like there was one Clemens guy that had a shot at the end, but then he cuts it back, breaks a little tackle, and goes in standing up. 13 for 6.
Miles Davis. Sweet music there from Miles Davis. Again, that young man is headed to Texas A&M to play safety. More on him as this game goes on, but I don't know how much time's left in this thing. It's already 7-7. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we are 32 seconds into the game, and it is 7-7 after back-to-back kickoff returns of 100 yards for touchdowns. First Clemens, then Judson, and it's like we're starting fresh right here with a kickoff from the Rockets again.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say we've been doing this as many years that we've been doing this. We've never seen anything like what we've just seen here in the first 32. Unbelievable start to this football game, and my guess is we're going to see a lot of pooch kicks the rest of the night.
You know how they have those oxygen tanks on the sidelines? We need one in the broadcast booth. Exciting times here. Here's another kick. This one's fielded 4 yards deep, and can't blame him for thinking optimistically there, wanting to almost bring it out. Instead, the Clemens Buffaloes will see their first offensive series of the football game, and that will bring out quarterback Nathan Alvarez and the Buffalo offense led by running back Josh Jackson. He's an all-district performer from a year ago as a sophomore. Just 5'8", 170, but he's had a very productive season, number 4 that is.
Yeah, Don, he can go a lot of different places. He can run it. He can spread you out. Just a really fantastic ball player. As we take a look at Nathan Alvarez having a great season, throwing an almost 70% clip.
Little play action. He wants to go deep, goes over the middle, got a man down there. That's caught to the 30. Touchdown, Clemens. Caden Turner to the house.
This is absolutely stunning what we're seeing here tonight. 2 opening kicks and then a home run ball for 6 on the first play from scrimmage. You've got to be kidding me. Little play fake. Alvarez dropping back and throwing a dime just past the outstretched arm of the safety, and then just enough to lunge for the end zone and get the 6.
3 plays, 3 touchdowns, 14-7 Clemens. Judson's turn when we come back.
Well, back here at DW Rutledge Stadium with our key sponsor here, Taco Cabana's Michael Hines. Mike, we've been doing this a long time, all year, it seems like. Never have we ever seen that happen.
No, absolutely. Have not seen back-to-back runbacks and then a touchdown like that.
Well, usually I'm not really nervous that the touchdown's going to get run back right behind us, but I'm kind of nervous tonight. So let's get right to it. We're only 45 seconds in, which is fitting because you guys are on your 45th year of Taco Cabana this year. Why is it that you guys continue to give back to the community here?
Well, when we started 45 years ago, we really weren't in the community, but now, being here so long, we want to show everybody we're here to stay.
I keep turning around just like watch our backs here. So you guys have a lot going on at Taco Cabana, as always. What do you guys got going on this month and as we look forward?
So right now it's Halloween. We got the Halloween bean and cheese booklets that are $2 for five free bean and cheese. We still got the 2 barbacoa with the big red taco going on while supplies last.
All right, man. Well, my pleasure. Thank you so much. Let's
again.
watch the action. Back to you guys.
Don, we were played just under a minute still in this ball game. We finally saw our first tackle of the ball game.
51 seconds in, now almost 300 yards of total all-purpose yards, 21 points scored, and there's 11:09 left. Unbelievable.
All right, we'll take a look at the keys to the game, and they want to win the special teams battle. Well, they're at least 50-50 so far, and then they want to set off some explosives on offense. We'll see what they have on this here series.
Judson's going deep. At just over the outstretched hands of the wide receiver intended there for number 17 of the Judson Rockets. That's Kenyon Smith. Nice ball by Elijah Favela.
It sure was. I mean, nothing wrong with Elijah's arms, that's for sure. But this guy's been making plays all year, just a junior, and apparently he's really good at basketball too.
It's a big young man as the Clemens defensive line shuts that down. Good job up front by the Clemens front 4. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Here's a look at that Judson offense. Jack Call, one of the coach's sons, plays wide receiver. He's a talented kid. Terrell Smith III sitting this one out tonight. Favela looking over the defense, fires. That ball is caught, and that's good enough for a San Antonio Zoo first down.
Yeah, Andres Rojas making a nice play right there. And Favela doing a great job hanging around in the pocket because I'm telling you, Don, 99 Jordan Yalowski is something to behold at the DN position for Clemens.
So run right up the middle. It's Nate Stanley. We talked about him pregame. Nice little first down run there. It'll be 2nd down and 5 as we look over that Clemens defense, of course, Paul Mankey, the two-time All-District 4-star recruit, going to Duke, as we talked about in the pregame. Also got a senior-led defensive front. As Favola swings it into the flat. There's Stanley again, and he's close to the marker for another San Antonio Zoo first down. Looks like they're going to spot him just about a foot short. Nope, they move the sticks.
And as you take a look at Nate Stanley's numbers, you know, Don, the one thing we didn't mention on the pregame is this young man's already committed to Air Force too. So, you know, again, these guys are not only great ball players, but you talk about what's going on upstairs in that mind of theirs. It's really, really special individuals.
And in motion for Judson. Favola fires the slant. Nice fake to Stanley that cut the ball to the 21-yard line. Ball complete to Davian Watson, who ran a nice route. Boy, Favola puts it on you in a hurry.
Does. Really nice job on the slant. Quick hitter. And moving the sticks for the Rockets, who are trying to counter what's been going on in this football game. And we talk often, we see some of these games turn into ping pong matches. This legitimately has been just a few minutes in.
New San Antonio Zoo first down for Favola. He's got 3 wides. Handles the snap, fires into the flat. Making one man miss again is Andres Rojas. Short gain on the play.
Yeah, Rockets doing a really nice job setting that play up. And got a nice block outside too after Favola finds the ears, gets it outside. Textbook block on the outside, helping the Rockets get that ball a little further down the field.
Stanley off tackle. Cuts it inside the 15 as they move inside the Central Med red zone. He's dropped there about the 12-yard line, short of the first down.
This game is actually slowed down just a hair, right? I mean, Judson's having a nice drive here, but considering how quickly this game unfolded with lighting up the scoreboard, and we certainly mean exactly that, right? I mean, how can you be this tight into a football game and have 3 touchdowns already on the board less than a minute into the game is not something you see too often. That's a first for me.
Stanley again, cuts inside, gets close to the 10. Close to the marker. Kind of a busted play here, but he made a little something out of nothing. Where are you?
And there's already a lot of guys that are getting nicked up. I mean, you can expect the war in the trenches when these two teams get together. And then, again, a lot at stake as we got a stoppage in play.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them as it's an injury timeout as they take a look at one of those Clemens Buffaloes. It's 14-7, and we've still got 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Welcome back to Rutledge Stadium. It's homecoming here for Judson. The Rockets on the move trying to score and tie this football game up. They're at the Clemens 13-yard line. As take a look at the injured player. That might be one of those injuries we don't really want to concentrate on.
Well, we've all been there.
4th and 1. Rockets will go for it here. Favola hands to Stanley. He's got the first down and more inside the 10, down to about the 7-yard line. Still churns to maybe the 6.
Well, it's nice to have a guy like Nathaniel Stanley back there, isn't it, Don? I mean, you got a lot of rugby scrum going on there in the trenches, and boy, he doesn't need much of a window in order to make something happen. And you see how cut up this guy is. I mean, what a ball player.
It's a good for a San Antonio Zoo first down. It sets up 1st and goal for the Rockets. They'll give to Stanley again. He sticks his nose down to the 3, still pushing forward, and he'll be ridden down right at the 2-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 2.
This is a little reminiscent of last week's game, right? Had a lot of offense in the first half. I didn't think we would see quite this much offense to start the ball game, but both of these offenses are super explosive, and any stops tonight are going to be huge for these defenses.
Rockets will scrimmage from the 2-yard line. Favola again to Stanley. He was caught in the backfield, but I thought he may have gotten in, but they're going to mark him down short of the goal line. Good penetration by Clemens. Stanley carried the tackler forward. I thought he broke the plane, but I guess not.
Trying to pick up the number on that. Was that number 22?
72 or 22, that's for sure.
Zir Cumby, it's a great job, whatever, on the run blitz to at least get a stop there on 2nd down. Now we'll see if the Clemens defense can be just as stout here on 3rd.
Man, with Favola's size, why don't you just sneak it? Because they'll go to Stanley. He dives and he gets it. Nate Stanley, touchdown, Judson. The Rockets are an extra point away from tying this thing up.
Well, every time Clemens comes up with a big play, Judson is answered. They did it on special teams to start the game. Now they have a nice methodical drive down the field. Had to pick up a 4th down along the way, but Nathaniel Stanley finishing it off, and Judson an extra point away from squaring this game at 14.
Impressive drive by Favola and the Rocket offense. Extra point on its way, and good off the foot of Douglas Tolliver. We're tied up. Let's go down to Matt Roy on the sidelines. Matt?
All right, well, guys, we have our presenting sponsor right here, the Gomez Law Firm, Vincent Vasquez. He's an attorney over there. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well, you know, very exciting, very exciting.
Yeah.
It's one of the most exciting games all year, and we're also very excited, as always, to have Gomez Law Firm here as a presenting sponsor. Why is it that you guys continue to try and help out the community like this?
Well, because like high school football, Gomez is an integral part of San Antonio, and it's great to be able to bring this program into the homes of people around the area and get 4 touchdowns in 10 minutes. It's a great start for the evening.
You mentioned it a little bit there. Mr. Gomez is pretty much ingrained in the San Antonio community. When you think of San Antonio, you think of Gomez and the Gomez Law Firm. So why is that?
Well, Mr. Gomez was born and raised in San Antonio, and we're actually celebrating 50 years this year. And so San Antonio is home to the majority of our operations, and we're all from San Antonio, and we're going to continue to give back to the community because it's very important to us.
And what is it that makes the Gomez Law Firms different than other injury law firms around the state?
Well, with the firm, you're a part of the family. You're not just a client, and so you're going to get treated like a part of the family. And we do a lot of things around the community outside of the courtroom, scholarships and donations and things of that nature. So we want to give back as much as we can.
We greatly appreciate you being here. Don, Chuck, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Matt. Clemens will try to answer after that long Judson drive. Again, you might be just tuning in and say, 28 points scored. Yep, we had 2 100-yard kick returns and a 75-yard bomb on 1st down. First 3 plays of the game were touchdowns.
Yeah, we had 276 total yards in this football game, 3 touchdowns and no tackles, and all done under 45 seconds.
Unbelievable. Never seen anything like it. We've been doing this a long time. I don't know that I've ever seen that in a football game.
And the first thing we've seen tonight, a nice play by the defense.
A tackle. Here's the Judson defense. Kevin Duhart, Miles Davis, of course, 13. The safety who had the kick return is the big-time recruit. Up front, they're led by Zacchaeus Thomas. On 2nd down and 9 for Nathan Alvarez. Turns and hands. Good job by the Judson defense to get behind the line and make the tackle. It's big number 94 for the Rockets, Eugene Keno. So we take a look at one of our Texas Kidney Foundation player profiles. Keelan Wells, senior linebacker, being on a lot of plays tonight. He's a leader in the community, member of the National Honor Society and the Honor Roll. He runs to the football from that linebacking position. Third down, we'll call it 8 for Nathan Alvarez in the Clemens offense. He fakes, then sprints, completes it, and it's good for a first down again to Caden Turner. And Chuck, Caden Turner, you were talking about him this week, man. What a special story that young man is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 5-star punter, but he's also a really darn good receiver as you see what he's done on the season. I mean, this guy's a special athlete, but I was more impressed really with Nathan Alvarez's presence in the pocket.
Downfield. Down.
He's a penalty on the play. He's also one of our scholar athletes. You'll hear from David Chancellor.
Third down.
Ineligible.
As we take a look at the referees tonight that we're blessed to have here on the field.
Absolutely. Fred Ward is his crew tonight. And give a chance for you to plug Tasso again. They're always looking for refs.
That's right. You got to head to their website, y'all. I mean, they've got a lot of referees right now in the system, but a lot of them are still being coached up. So if you'd like to, you think you could do a good job reffing these football games, please get on their website and sign up. Pay's not bad either.
Completes that one. Nice quick move. We're seeing some great athletes. That's Christian Dupree, the young man who started this thing with a 100-yard kick return. And talk about quick twitch. Look at the move after the catch right here.
Well, you know, if you're getting on a field for a Jared Johnson team, that you've got to be special, right? Especially as a sophomore. I mean, this guy's obviously got great speed and really showing off some nifty moves right there as well.
We will get our first look at Turner's punting ability. He's a 5-star San Antonio Sports All-Star punter. And he will boot it from about his own 33 or 34. Or maybe not. Penalty flag's down.
Well, Jared Johnson, Don, tells a great story about how Caden became a punter.
On the offense, 5 yards, 4th down.
He's playing on the freshman B team. It's early on in the season. They got a punt that goes 5 yards. And, of course, Coach Johnson's watching the B team, and he's like, we got to find a punter. So he goes down and he asks all the kids, okay, can any of you guys punt? And then some kid rats Caden out and says, hey, Coach, I think Caden played soccer as a kid. He goes, well, can you punt? He goes, I don't know, Coach, but I'll try. First time he punts it 50 yards. And so Caden goes to Coach Johnson and says, hey, Coach, am I the B team punter?
Uh-oh, Miles Davis is off to the races again, and Caden has to bring him down at the 45.
So to finish the story, he asked the coach, am I the B team punter? And he goes, no, son, you're the varsity punter. Get on the bus.
We're back in 15 seconds.
Do you know a San Antonio teen in 7th to 12th grade looking for ways to get involved in the community? They can apply to be a Project Worth Teen Ambassador today. For more information, visit our website or call 210-207-8850.
Kicked a good spiral there, just didn't get up quite high enough, and it went right to Davis, who had a nice return into Clemens territory, and the Rockets have it at the 45. They complete the little bubble screen. Goes for about 4, but big number 99, Jordan Yalowski, there to just wrestle the Rocket to the ground.
I'm telling you, this guy, you walk around down on the field before the game, and it's like, who's that? Oh, he's a junior. Really? I mean, he's already made a couple of big plays in this game.
Little bubble screen to the other side. It's Stanley. Stanley's still on his feet. Boy, Stanley gets yards after contact. They'll mark him all the way forward to about the 37.
Yeah, he's one of those players, Don, too, as you watch a football game, and they're obviously going to spread him out and do a lot of different things with him because he's so talented, but it's just the way he plays, right, with toughness and grit and great vision, and, you know, all these things that you see on the football field resonate across the rest of this team as well. Everybody sees how this guy works and goes about his business, and it's contagious.
Getting near the end of the first quarter. Favla in trouble. Nice little move to Stanley to throw him open, and Stanley did a good job of getting open, releasing when he saw his quarterback in trouble.
Yeah, and Alvarez doing a really nice job there too. I mean, finding a way to get himself outside, buy himself some time, and extend the play a little bit. And both of these quarterbacks showing a little moxie here to start this football game, and what's been a very entertaining first quarter.
To San Antonio Zoo, first down. Fire to the outside, and a good job in coverage and making a tackle by the Clemens Buffaloes, Xavier Jordan, the senior.
Man, you're not kidding. You talk about getting on a guy in space and squaring him up. Excellent job right there on defense for the Buffs.
You could see in that shot on the sidelines a whole host of alumni as they're going to honor these two state championship teams in between periods. Lots of Judson Rockets right there. Saw some legends pregame. Guys like Chris Pryor. Boy, Chris Pryor was a Texas high school legend in '83. Went to Texas Tech. And that's the end of the first quarter. It's all square, 14-14, some fireworks here in Converse, Texas. We'll be back with second quarter action when TNL returns live from Converse. Welcome back. Time for our Harlandale Independent School District first quarter highlights, and I don't know if I can keep up. Christian Dupree went 100 in the first 10 seconds of the game to make it 7-0. So they kick off the Judson, and Miles Davis goes 101. It's 7-7 with 30 seconds into the game. So Clemens gets it 1st and 10, and they go 75. Nathan Alvarez to Caden Turner. Could barely catch my breath. It was 14-7, and we were still with like 11:20 to go. Judson ties it up. Nate Stanley on the 1-yard dive. It's 14-all, and that's where we stand here as we get ready to start the second quarter. And Chuck, I don't know that with all these special teams plays that there hasn't been a whole heck of a lot of offensive possessions to run up the stats.
Right. I mean, it's been a fascinating ball game in that regard. I mean, all you have to do is look at the scoreboard and think, jeepers creepers, we've played a lot of football, it seems like, here tonight, and actually you've only played a quarter. I mean, we have really seen some electrifying plays and some special athletes do their thing here tonight, and I wonder what the rest of this ball game has in store for us.
Clemens has 0 first downs and 2 touchdowns. Rockets have the ball in Clemens territory. Ball spotted right at about the 28-yard line. It's 2nd down and 11. Favela back, fires deep, got a man down there, one-on-one coverage, and just overshot his intended receiver, Deshaun Kendrick.
And it's sure looking like one of those football games, Don, where, man, if you get a stop, it is going to be big-time headline news around this here part. And both of these kickers are very talented, so, you know, nothing wrong with kicking field goals tonight. You just got to find a way to score points on every possession the way this one's shaping up.
It's 3rd down and 12 now. Got some defense being played here. Favela wanted to swing it in the flat. Now waiting, swings it down the sideline to Stanley. Stanley's going to get near the 1st down. Or did he step out of bounds further back where the official's standing? They're going to call him out of bounds at about the 22. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, Favela just doing a great job of climbing the pocket, right? He's got pressure all around him, but he's finding some space, and then he knows where to go with the football if you want a shot at that 1st down. Great job, great vision by the quarterback of the Judson Rockets.
The official all over it. Good spot, so that will set up a field goal attempt by Douglas Tolliver, the senior. He's 3 for 7 is the left footer. Ball spotted at the 28. It's a 38-yarder. It's high and it's short. And so the field goal is no good. Just kind of got under that one with a gap wedge. Kind of shot it straight up into the air.
Yeah, he's got a heck of a leg, Don, and they had a little problem with getting the ball on the ground there. Not to mention, he is kicking that thing right into the teeth of that 9 mile an hour wind that you spoke about.
as we said, it's a special night here at Judson. For more on that, let's go down to Matt Roy.
Well, guys, it can't get any more special than with Mr. D.W. Rutledge here. Coach Rutledge here for 21 years, 4 state championships. The accolades, they go on and on. How are you tonight, my friend?
Doing great, having a good time, enjoying seeing all the guys. And, you know, for the 93 bunch, it's been 30 years, and then we're fixing to celebrate the 83 bunch, and that's a 40-year anniversary for them.
I mean, 30 years since that championship, does it seem like yesterday?
It seems like yesterday. It does. It does.
I mean, you guys are going to have to come back in 2 years and celebrate the 95 team too, right?
That's right. That's right.
We were just talking in the break. How weird is it for you, and how much of an honor is it for you to have this stadium named after you? You don't really grow up thinking like, you know, I really want a high school stadium named after me, but here you are.
Well, it's a really an humbling experience, and surreal. You know, it's and something that I'm proud of. I love working here. I love working with the kids that grew up in this community, and well, we had great mamas and daddies, and they worked so hard with their kids. And we tried to reinforce the values that they got at home, and it was just a great community to work in.
And Coach, as you see Coach Soto now kind of carrying that torch for you, being the next generation, what's your message to him as he continues to try and take your legacy and take the legacy of Judson football to the next level?
Yeah, well, I tell you, Mark is working really hard, and he's doing it the right way. He's coaching those kids to be good men first and good athletes second, and I think that's really an important approach, and he's doing that. He puts the character development and those things out in front of the physical development, and that's, to me, that's coaching the right way, and Mark's doing it that way. So.
He's just trying to live like you, my man. Well, thank you so much, Coach. It's been an honor to talk to you guys. We'll send it back up to you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. One of our favorites. One of the favorites in the state of Texas. I've said this before. I think he's one of the most important figures in Texas high school sports history, because after his legendary coaching career, he became the executive director of the Texas High School Football Coaches Association, or Coaches Association. And he implemented, there's Coach Rackley. He implemented the Coaching to Change Lives textbook that went to every school in the state of Texas.
Speaking of legends.
And it really did change the lives of so many kids around the entire state. That ball completed to the outside, and right on cue, here up here in the booth. Sit down, Coach. Let's sit you right here. We've got the legendary Frank Arnold. Now, DW's name's on the stadium, but DW was the defensive coordinator for Frank Arnold in '83 when Judson won their first state championship. The coach joins us up here in the booth now. And, Coach, you can say it. You taught DW everything he knows.
10 yards. Second down.
No, I felt blessed to be able to hire him. And, you know, at the same time, in '80, I hired Jim Rackley and John Snowdy and a few others. And luckily they made me look real good.
Now, you were at Holmes before. You were at Holmes in
75, 6, and 7.
Yeah, and you had good squads there.
We went to the quarters. Of course, lost to Churchill a couple of times.
Say that again?
Churchill. But you know, great coaches make the head coach look good, and they did a great job. I always say I was in the right place at the right time.
When you came to Judson, it was a different kind of – it wasn't the big Judson that we know now, because it had gone from a 2A school to a 3A school. What was Judson like, and what made you take the job?
Well, first of all, my high school coach was Roy Wallace, who was athletic director here, and he was kind of my mentor throughout. He always told me he wanted me to work for him, and it just happened right. You know, so he was a guy that could make things happen for us. He helped our program so much from the standpoint of needs to bring the program up to where it needed to be. And he gave us all the tools to make it right, and got all the approvals and what have you. He was a great man and loved him to death, and he just felt like he was a father to me.
So you win the state championship in '83 with Chris Pryor, legendary player in Texas high school football. And then you retire and just hand it over to DW. Why'd you get out at that time?
Well, Roy Wallace was not supposed to retire as quick as he did.
Okay.
And he came to me and told me he was going to retire before he really talked about making the plans. But I had to make a decision, and I never wanted to be a vice principal or anything of that in the school administration. So I was fortunate that they allowed me to be the athletic director. And it's just a different community. When I came out, nothing but farmland on FM 78, but we served 5 communities, and our numbers were big because of that. And it was a great time to be here.
Yeah.
Great coaches, great kids. Fun time, really was.
And you couldn't have picked a better replacement than your defensive coordinator, DW, who took it kind of one step further. Nice ball completed there near midfield. Great catch. And DW and you together, you were here as the athletic director, started what turned out to be one of the great dynasties in the history of Texas football.
Well, he just elevated everything that in our program and made it better. He's a fantastic person, and that was the whole key to our program. We thought we hoping to make kids better people, and surely they'd be better athletes if they could be better people.
I was talking about that when you walked in, that coaching to change lives philosophy, and how he took his success at Judson and basically handed the playbook to every single coach in the whole state of Texas.
Right. It's just tremendous. Him and Dennis Parker was involved. He was our offensive coordinator eventually, and I became just head coach. And they, like I said, I became a better coach when they were running the offense and defense.
What are you up to these days?
Trying to live with my neighbors. Some of my neighbors are hard to live with.
I bet you. I've heard that.
Your dad and mom are great people, and I try to stay well enough to play golf that I don't complain about it.
I've seen your golf cart. It's a Judson helmet. It's painted in that primer gray with the red.
No,
Judson.
That one went by the wayside.
Oh, you wore that one out?
Yes, I did. They had given me that out here in going away present retirement.
Well, you're sporting the what do they call that? The Diamond J logo.
The Diamond J
on the hat, still proudly. And Coach, it's so great to see you. Congratulations on this anniversary. I know both of them are special to you.
Appreciate it.
Wearing your championship ring, and what a great night here to remember all these great guys.
Great to be a part of and see a lot of these guys that I haven't seen in years. And like I said, it was a fantastic time.
Yeah, sure was, man. I remember the Friday nights out here in the 80s and early 90s. You could not find a seat. It was standing room. It was 15,000 people every Friday night. They were here for warm-ups, and they were just as loud during pregame warm-ups as they were during the game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I talked to a couple of old fans earlier, and they said, I remember when I had to line up to buy tickets. The line went forever.
Yeah.
And, of course, there was 2 years we didn't have any seats available for reserve seating because they'd all been sold as season tickets.
You know what cracked me up about that is there were people that were season ticket holders out here that didn't have kids in the school.
Oh, yeah. Many of them. Many of them. Well, it's kind of fanatical in those days. And like I said, I was in the right place at the right time. It was really fun to be a part of.
Great to see you, Coach.
Thank you.
I'll see you on the golf course soon.
You're ready, huh?
No, I'm not going to play. I just got to go check on Mom and Dad.
I hear you. Well, they're great people, and we're blessed to have them as neighbors.
Good to see you, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Legendary Frank Arnold. His name's on a building right here, too, next door. And it all started with Coach Frank Arnold and Chris Pryor on that 1983 team. I remember going to that first playoff game by district. They beat Churchill 35-0 and rolled from there, beat Houston Yates in the semifinals in a packed Alamo Stadium that had about 25,000 people in it. In the meantime, Clemens is driving right down the field. And this has been a nice long drive for the Buffaloes down to about the 20-yard line, about to get into the Central Med red zone.
I'm really impressed watching this game unfold with the quarterback play so far. I mean, Nathan Alvarez has made some really heady, big-time throws on this drive. And you can see why this young guy is throwing at about a 70% completion percentage for the season. I mean, just both of these guys, great pocket awareness, good arms, on target, on time.
And some nice targets in Christian Dupree and Caden Turner.
That helps, right?
He'll snap it here, hand it up the middle, big gain to the 5, touchdown. Clemens, Buffaloes, Raekwon Ruffin takes it right up the gut, and Clemens goes back in front.
2 minutes for Ruffin. Look at this run. Gets it, and wow, what a crease up front by the big boys doing their thing. Paldy, Dixon, and Harper over there on the right side, and next thing you know, you look up on the scoreboard, and Clemens is taking the lead again.
Turner will hold for Ethan Brumgard. That extra point is true, and the Buffaloes go in front 21-14. Still 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Welcome back. Time for Dr. Drake's Sleep Solutions Smile Cam. They had a big pep rally out here on the field today, celebrating all of this homecoming. Look at the stands packed with students as they all celebrated this homecoming and anniversary of those 2 state championship teams. I guess if you're talking Judson State Championship anniversaries, you could have one almost every year.
Roger that. What a job by Raekwon Ruffin. You know, Joshua Jackson has gotten some all-district love for Clemens at running back. I mean, we can't go to sleep on Raekwon Ruffin either. I mean, this guy came into this ballgame down with 51 carries for 355 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he just popped that one for 20. I mean, he's averaging 7 yards a pop every time he touches the football. So, you know, we've talked a lot about the special athletes that this team, both of these teams, possess. And, you know, you see some of these guys, too, even if there's multiple guys at one position, they can all touch it and go. And, you know, even talking to some of the Judson coaches about what they've got in the running back room. I mean, it's not just one guy. They got a whole stable full of dudes.
It's a countywide first down for the Judson Rockets as they scrimmage from the 25. Inside handoff to Nate Stanley. He's brought down after a gain of 4. Nice one-on-one tackle there.
You always feel like you're better, too. You know, we've talked about the coaches that we've been able to talk to this evening and get a chance to catch up with, but, you know, even the coaches here tonight, right? Always a treat. You always feel better for it, whether it's the head coaches or, like, even Jarvion Williams, the coach at Judson, too, that made it all the way to the league as a special Judson running back.
Yeah, Jarvion, a fantastic player. Personal foul here, late hit after Stanley went out of bounds. Of course, Jarvion would start UTSA. Talk about a great young man. He's coaching to change lives, too. Doing a good job here.
Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
And we can flash back with Jelon Williams. Jarvion's little brother had a heck of a play on TNL. Jelon Williams rolling to his right, wants to throw it, keeps, pressured. Now throws all the way across the field, and it's caught for a touchdown.
I'm sure this is one of those plays where head coach Sean McAuliffe was going, no, 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 yes, yes, yes.
Jelon led Judson to the state semifinals as a 14-year-old freshman. What a fantastic career he had. Went to the University of Houston and transferred back to UTSA. Great family, great athletes.
And some guys just look different when they play on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, right? I mean, you can just spot them a mile away. They stand out either because of size and speed or just because they're so electric when they're running around. You can see him with ease.
And Jarvion was such a physical back. in high school and college. I mean, linebackers just didn't want to tackle him. He would make you pay.
Yeah, and one of those guys that felt like it was important, too, to stay at home, right? And help build that UTSA program
Absolutely.
into what it is today. And again, you're staying at home, and then you got all these guys going to the league. I mean, what they've done at UTSA and how they've done it is just remarkable. You know, obviously, they get a little more recruits from the outside now, but early on, it was just keep the guys that we got here.
Favela going deep. Got a man down there, stumbled. Receiver stumbled and allowed the defender to make a play on it. And it was almost an interception there by Xavier Jordan, who read it perfectly.
Again, poise in the pocket. Both of these quarterbacks really showing out here tonight in the first half of this football game. But it is going to bring up fourth down, and we'll see what the Rockets decide to do here on the Clemens side of the field.
Looks like they've sent the punt team out. That's Elijah Massingale, the sophomore punter. And he'll put his foot into it right at midfield. Low squibber, takes a hop and fielded and knelt down there at the 12-yard line. Clemens will have a long way to go when we come back. 5 minutes to play here at halftime. It's 21-14 and a classic on TNL. Time for our Texas Kidney Foundation player profile. Big Jordan Yalowski, 6'4", 225, plays hoops, plays baseball, has a 93 GPA. He's that young man who just picked up Stanley and threw him on the ground a few plays ago. Very strong young man.
Yeah, I mean, you think about a guy that size getting on the mound. No, thank you.
First down and 10. Run it off tackle for about 1.5 yards as they go back to Josh Jackson. So he splits time with Raekwon Ruffin, who had the touchdown.
Don, you're talking about Jordan Yalowski. I mean, you think about that. That kid did that as a sophomore. Played varsity basketball, varsity football, and varsity baseball. Get out of here.
An outstanding all-around athlete.
They're going to like having him in the hoops court as a junior, and I'm sure in baseball as well, playing two different positions.
Got a stoppage of play here. Don't know if it's an injury or a timeout or.
Jared Johnson's come on the field. It's some sort of explanation.
Might be a timing issue. Maybe you reset the clock. They put it in place. Second down and 6, we'll call it, for the Buffaloes. Inside handoff. Nice gash for Jackson. Still on his feet. Jackson's got a countywide service company first down all the way across the 25 near the 30.
Don, we talk about honoring all these great Judson football players. How about Jackson? You know who his dad was? He was on the 95 state champion basketball team for the East Central Hornets back in the day, remember?
Oh, yeah.
He was one of their best players. So, I mean, you talk about some of these guys with fathers that were just elite level athletes and players and on winning teams. Jackson's popped too.
Oh, what a team that was. Stan Bonowitz.
Yep, run and gun. Joshua Jackson, what an athlete this guy is.
Dante, what was Dante's name? He went
Mathis.
Dante Mathis.
I almost said Dante Culpepper. Wow, he played basketball in San Antonio?
Yeah, Charles Jackson.
Right.
Man, they went into the Irwin Center. I'll never forget that game. Dallas Carter was talking so much smack, laughing at him in the pregame warm-ups. Pretty close first half. In the third quarter, they ran them out the gym. Here's Jackson again across the 40 to the 42. won by like 30. Bonowitz was hitting threes. They were running that old,
first available shot.
East Central offense. Coach Bonowitz' philosophy was, we'll give up 120 as long as we score 121.
Fun to watch.
Oh, man, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, that's still easily one of the coolest things I think either one of us has probably ever seen doing this as long as we have.
Yep. First down here, countywide first down for the Buffaloes. And it's Jackson again, and he goes forward for about 3. Did not have a lot of size on that East Central team. I think the tallest guy might have been 6'3". But the best part about that team was since the 7th grade, there were 8 guys that were brothers. They just loved each other, and they went everywhere, and they played open gym 365 every day. They went and looked for a game. There was no AAU back in those days where they played a bunch of organized. They would just go to a park somewhere and take on all comers. And the chemistry that they had was what made them so special. Nice completion there to Christian Dupree. Of course, Coach Bonowitz and his son Stanley, both in the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame.
Really impressed getting back to the ball game here tonight with these Buffaloes and their ability to get the ball down the field. They're patient. The receivers run great routes.
And another countywide service company first down as they bullet straight ahead for Josh Jackson. That time they faked the kind of reverse there to Dupree, and I would, get that ball in his hands more often since the opening kickoff. He got that twitch, man. He is so quick. I wouldn't be surprised if they set that up for later. All right, this gives us time to tell you about San Antonio sports in Valero. They're spotlighting the teams that make a difference in our communities with the Beyond the Game program. Here's more from San Antonio Sports' Jenny Carnes and Valero.
Beyond the Game is an initiative that works with all of our school districts to encourage high school and middle school teams to make a difference within their student population and serve our community. We know that students who participate in team sports are setting the foundation for their future in the workplace by learning teamwork, unselfishness, and respect. This program recognizes high school and middle school teams for working together to make a difference in our community.
The values of integrity, respect, teamwork, excellence, and community service are the backbone of Valero's long-standing culture, and we are honored to partner with Beyond the Game to recognize these exceptional students in their endeavors.
Having Valero as a teammate for Beyond the Game will help this program continue to positively impact more teams, coaches, and families. 4 teams will be recognized during the San Antonio All-Star football game in the Alamo Dome. If you want to nominate a team, you can visit sanantoniosports.org and learn more about the program and nominate your team today.
Coming up, don't miss the Central Med halftime shows. Boy, the bands are getting good. They're all got their fall programs down by now, their competition programs. Last week was just spectacular. And whenever you go to schools like this size and you get those 300-member bands, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's homecoming night too, so we're going to get to see who the king and queen are.
They fake it to Dupree, run the sprint out and complete it. Nice. You're right, Chuck, about this quarterback. He's got poise. Caden Turner on the catch.
Yeah, going to go to college because of his leg, but jeepers creepers, he runs nice routes. He's got great hands, and Clemens being all multiple back there. And again, I just cannot say enough about the way these two quarterbacks are doing their business tonight. Very impressive. Talk about the bands being in mid-season form. You're starting to see these teams get a little sharper too, right? It's a lot more continuity.
We may have had a targeting at the end of that play. I'm not sure if it was helmet to helmet or I know it was inbounds, but we'll see what they're discussing. It looked pretty clean to me. I thought it was clean.
And while they're sorting this out, we saw Jackson kind of go off to the sideline, and he's missed the last couple of plays. We'll see if he returns to this ball game, but right now Clemens is moving the ball down the field.
Personal foul. Targeting on a defense. 15 yards, first down.
All right. I thought there might have been number 4 here at the end. Helmet to helmet, and it was. Crown of the helmet to the helmet. It's a good call.
It's hard to tell from that angle. I mean, your number one job is to get the guy out of bounds. So tough to play defense these days, that's for sure. Didn't look like it was anything extraordinary, but the rules are the rules.
And what I like is it's not a disqualification. You're not throwing anybody out.
Right.
All right, so it moves the ball into Judson territory. They swing it to the sideline, and Jackson just couldn't keep his feet.
Well, it's just good to see him back in the game. As you see, Coach Johnston wants tempo here. Try to get this one in as we wind under a minute to go in the first half.
Inside the Central Med red zone, 48 and ticking. Alvarez again into the flat. Get into the hands of their playmaker, Dupree, but good defense by the Rockets to come up and stop it. That's Keelan Wells, who came up with, as you said, bad intentions, making the play there with his teammate Devon Larice. Let's flash back to 2016 for a little goal line defense inspiration. 1-on-10 here is Bryson Carroll. Going to take the snap, going to keep it himself, and he's stoned again. Oh my goodness, Leal came up and just laid a lick on him right at the line of scrimmage. That's a brick wall that he just ran into. Big DeMarvin Leal plays, of course, went to Texas A&M and is earning a living in the NFL now. Your guy Marv, as you call him.
Big Marv. Yeah, that was one of those guys, man. I mean, it seems like they've had a ton of great defensive linemen over the years, right? And, all of those guys were just really good college players, and a lot of them made it to the league. But it was interesting, even as a freshman, the coaches were saying, watch out for this guy. And he was one of those guys you literally could not take your eyes off of, even when he was that young.
That's right. Johnny Bowen's the latest, who's up at Oregon now. Alton Robinson, another. Of course, I'll never forget, just a few years ago, it seems, when you and I were up in this booth calling a couple of young sophomores named Sincere McCormick and Rashad Wisdom. Leal was on that team as well. And we were like, who are these little guys returning kicks, man? And they were just sophomores. And of course, we all know what happened to those UTSA Roadrunners. Sincere now with the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, it's this Judson team, right? The beat goes on. I mean, you talked about Miles Davis. You got Thomas, Haygood, Chandler, Woods, all these dudes with D1 offers. I mean, they just don't miss a beat, even though the numbers, remember, they seemed like they had 100 guys on the sideline back in the day. You usually got, between 50 and 55 down there, and most of them can play.
Dr. Drape Sleep Solutions Smile Cam checking out Rocket Man here. Judson would be smiling a lot easier if they can get out of the half. Down only 7. Clemens down to 1 play. And it looks like they're going to run out Brumgard, and why not? He's a award-winning kicker, all-district second team last year. He's a San Antonio Sports All-Star this year. And let's flash back to 2014 here on TNN.
As Young buys some time, he's got a man wide open. Young scrambling, rolling against his body, throwing back. It's caught. All right, first down and 10 for Josh Young and the MacArthur Bramas. Ball's caught. Touchdown. What a dunk.
We know that guy, Chuck. What's he doing these days, Josh Young?
Holding it down, and holding it down mighty well for the Texas Rangers. well, I just can't believe that what he's battled through to get back onto the field. Maybe we'll get into that as the game goes along, but Ethan Brumgard, this dude headed to Air Force, 5-star kicker. Let's see what he's got at the end of the half.
It's a 30-yarder, low snap, good hold though, and gorgeous kick right down Main Street. That makes it 24-14 as Zeros go to the half. Clemens with a 10-point lead, spoiling the homecoming here for the Judson Rockets so far. Coming up, it's the Central Med halftime show, but for now, let's go down to the sidelines and Matt Roy.
So Coach Mark Soto joining us here. Coach, the game started out just about as prolific as it could. How did you guys settle in after that and try and get some stops on defense, get some plays on offense?
But as you go, you have to settle in. I mean, this is going to be two good ball clubs. It's a backyard brawl. Those are good guys over there, and they do a great job. And, Judson Rockets got to play with a little bit more passion right now. They need to get after it a little bit.
Coach, they're trying to take the air out of the ball, it seems like, on offense, keep the ball away from you. How do you stop that in the second half?
You got to man up.
All right. Can't say better than that.
Mark Soto, all business right now. I bet you his Rockets are getting ready to get an earful from Coach Mark Soto. Love him. When we come back, stick around for those band scholar athletes. David Chancellor will have that. It's the Central Med halftime show next.
Tonight's broadcast of Thursday Night Lights is sponsored by Taco Cabana, the Gomez Law Firm, Steel North Star Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Centro Med, Enroll SA, Countywide Service Company, Dr. Drake Sleep Solutions, Christus Children's, San Antonio Sports, Valero, San Antonio Metropolitan Health District, Vietnam Army Grunt Museum, Beluga Air, Rhino Roofers, Texas Kidney Foundation, Air and Plumbing Today, Ron Hoover RV and Marine, Harlandale Independent School District, San Antonio Zoo, and Monarch Trophy Studio. Welcome to the Centro Med Halftime Report.
Welcome back here to DW Rutledge Stadium, where we have something that we've never seen before, I don't think, here on TNL or any of my years watching football. We started out the night with the opening kickoff being taken back by the Clemens Buffaloes, then the ensuing kickoff taken back by the Judson Rockets, and then the first play from scrimmage from Clemens on the next possession, a long touchdown, 14-7 within the first 45 seconds. Now it's 24-14. It's just a wild evening here at JW Rutledge Stadium. But right now we got the Clemens Marching Band on the field. They're led by director Matt Baining. Their assistant directors are Zach Soretta, Rob Wheeler, Angela Muckenfuss, and Amber Martin. There's 251 students in this band, and they're doing a show called Revolution. They say their season's going great so far. They got so many hard-working students that put together a great show. They're looking forward to this Saturday at Rutledge Stadium, 9:15 p.m. It's going to be the UIL Region 11 Marching Contest. Let's listen in. All right, y'all, you know what time it is. It's time to vote for the Christian Children's $5,000 band grant. To vote for the Clemens Marching Band, scan the QR code on your screen or visit cw35.com/station/contest. You must be 18 years old and live in our viewing area.
San Antonio middle and high school athletes are doing great things for our community. San Antonio Sports and Valero are shining a light on teams and individuals who model key values through their actions. This week, we salute 2 schools whose community projects demonstrate beyond the game values. As part of their Minutemen Read program, Memorial High School's football team visited 6 elementary schools, reading to students in both English and Spanish and making an impact on the next generation. Marion High School's football team served their community by sweeping and pressure washing sidewalks in front of Pinshorn's Meat Market in preparation for their 50th anniversary celebration. These athletes demonstrated the beyond the game values of integrity, respect, teamwork, excellence, and community service. San Antonio Sports and Valero salute high school and middle school coaches who inspire their athletes to serve others. Parents, teachers, and coaches can nominate teams and individuals that go beyond the game. Visit sanantoniosports.org.
You're watching the Centro Med Halftime Report.
Well, all season long, we've recognized some amazing student athletes from the schools featured here on TNL. At the end of the year, Steel, North Star, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram will present a $10,000 scholarship to one of the students that we featured this season on Thursday Night Lights. Our David Chancellor does a great job to finding out how they balance school and sports. Let's meet this week's scholar athletes from Clemens and Judson.
Clemens football player Caden Turner is a great punter, and I mean truly great. He's a 5-star player in Texas.
How far can you kick it?
Like my farthest one, like in the air, probably like 80-ish yards, I'd say.
If you were standing at your own goal line, you could kick it to the other 20? Wow.
I had done that before, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not nearly as crazy as this. That's Caden and his dad. After they caught a shark, and the truly crazy part, they've done it several times.
You'll hear it because the reel starts spinning, they take it and they run. And I mean, man, you're just fighting that thing for a long time. Like, you have to switch people because you're trying to fight the fish, like reeling it in. It was awesome.
Caden is one of the most interesting student athletes we've covered. 3-year letterman in football, 4 in soccer. He's an A student who loves to volunteer at the food bank, loves to fish, loves to hunt. But this picture sums him up. That's Caden dancing with his grandmother at a family wedding.
And my grandmother, I was like, she was kind of sitting down, so I was like, all right, well, she can't really get up and do the modern dances with everybody else. So I was like, hey, you want to dance? Like, I figured I would include her, and it's my grandmother.
Caden, you're a good boy. You're a good young man, my friend.
Judson swimmer Tamara De Los Santos took an unusual journey to the pool.
I started swimming my freshman year, and I didn't know how to swim, actually. So I started new.
No, how long? You did not know how to swim before joining the swim team there at Judson?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
She says it took her a month to learn. And yes, it was scary, but boy, did it pay off.
I'll just ask, are you good?
I would say so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If it wasn't for swimming, I honestly wouldn't have the friends I have. I wouldn't have the mindset I have. And it honestly changed me from who I was.
I'm assuming in a better way.
Yes.
She says the sport isn't just something she does, it's part of her, and it's why she doesn't mind the 2-hour practices. Great lessons on time management and goal setting, 2 things that should help her dive into a future she hopes includes veterinarian school.
You're watching the Centro Med Halftime Report.
And now it's the Judson Rocket High School Marching Band on the field. Now they're coming off a very successful Rocket Review weekend. They'll do their full performance after the game. But right now we spoke to the band director a little bit earlier this week. Let's take a listen.
My name is Laura Braun, and my title is I'm the director of bands here at Judson High School. This is my 5th year at Judson, the 4th as the head director. We have a really awesome show this year, and it's called Night at the Opera. But for this halftime program, we're actually doing something special with our 8th grade students, and it's homecoming. So we will be doing our show after the game instead of at halftime because we have a special halftime performance. We've been to 2 competitions. Last weekend we hosted our own competition, so technically we weren't competing, but we still got really great judges' scores. We're really looking forward to being at UIL contest this Saturday to compete and find out if we make it to area contest for the 21st in Leander, Texas, or Cedar Park, technically. My assistants are Jose Garcia and David Hochstetter, and David's new to our team this year. Jose came in last year, and they're both doing a really fantastic job. We have a new color guard staff this year. Our color guard director is Franco Young, and our guard techs are Salem Robertson and Jay Nieves Marquez. We also have a drumline tech, and her name is Brianna De Leon, and she's actually a elementary teacher in the district and a graduate of Judson High School, and her brother is on the drum line, which is kind of cool. And we really couldn't do all of our work that we get done without our booster organization and our board of directors from the boosters, because they help us run our Rocket Review marching contest that we had last weekend, and we just completed 35 successful years of Rocket Review, and that's their biggest fundraiser. And we had 26 bands that participated in that on Saturday, which is awesome. And our admin is fantastic and very supportive, especially our head principal, Mr. Richard Mendoza. We have some kids that are potentially looking at becoming music majors. Like 2 of our drum majors are looking at going to music school in the fall, so they're preparing for that. And we just had a student who qualified for area jazz, and it's our first time that we've ever had kids audition for Texas Music Educators Jazz. And one of our trumpet players advanced to the area round and taped for state, which is awesome. Judson High School Band is our Facebook page, and you can follow there. And we also have an Instagram account, and you can see. And then we also have Judson ISD Fine Arts is one that we would love for people to follow and support the fine arts for Judson ISD.
The Centro Med Halftime Report.
Welcome back to the Centro Med Halftime Report here at Rutledge Stadium. It's homecoming, as you can see. The court being announced here during the halftime ceremonies. Big night here in Converse. Time for our Harlandale Independent School District first half highlights. This game historic the way it started. Christian Dupree of Clemens went 100 yards in the first 10 seconds to make it 7-0. And then Judson answered. Miles Davis, the Aggie commit, goes 101. Just like that, it's 7-7. We were 20 seconds into the game. On the very next play, Nathan Alvarez goes to Caden Turner, 75 yards. It's 14-7 with 11:09 to go in the game, in the quarter. Nate Stanley then goes in for Judson, ties it at 14. And then in the second quarter, they switch ends, and Raekwon Ruffin goes for a 20-yard score. That made it 21-14 Clemens. They added an Ethan Brumgard 30-yard field goal. They lead it 24-14. And a lot of these kickoff returns and stuff don't show up. 200 yards worth of total offense don't show up on the stats as we take a look at the first half stats, but Chuck, other than the special teams plays, I think Clemens has been kind of in command with ball control, running time of possession, and keeping the ball away from Judson.
Yeah, and what a job by their defense. I don't think we've talked enough about what they've been able to do tonight. I mean, Judson's offense is explosive as it's been, and then Clemens, you know, with how many points they gave up a week ago in their district opener, to get some stops in this game, well done, and it's reflecting on the scoreboard.
We're getting closer to second half action. Clemens up by 10 here on homecoming night in Converse, Texas.
You're watching Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights, presented by the Gomez Law Firm.
Welcome back. Halftime at Converse, Texas, DW Rutledge Stadium. Clemens leads Judson 24-14. They just announced the homecoming court. And congratulations to the king and queen.
It's a nice little thing to have on your resume for life, isn't it?
Rima Kulkelvin is the queen. Congratulations to her. She got a huge ovation by the student body. Good looking couple right there.
Indeed. Well earned. Speaking of well earned,
here's some members of that 83 state championship team. There's Jim Rackley. There's Frank Arnold.
Sil Pettis.
Sil. There's D-Dub. I was a freshman in college, Chuck. You were too. No, you were a sophomore. I came home. There's Chris Pryor on the far left, that legendary running back. I think he ran for something like 3,500 yards that year. It was something absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, and I went to college out of state. That was actually my freshman year in college, and so I don't really remember any of that since I was 1,500 miles away from home.
He was good as my senior year, which was his junior year. I came home from Howard Payne University, where I went my first year before I transferred to North Texas, and brought a couple of buddies who weren't from San Antonio to go see that game, the by-district game. It may have even been like a second or third round game, Churchill and Judson. And they ran Churchill off the field on a rainy night at Northeast, 35-0. Went on, of course, to beat Houston Yates in the Alamo Stadium, with 26,000 packed in the state semifinals, and they went on to win the state championship.
I remember, you know, back in the day when I was in high school too, and I only went here my junior and senior year, but we were frequently doing things like you were doing, right? If your team was off, you'd go watch game du jour somewhere.
Yep.
Like, let's go watch this game. You need to get in the car with your buddies and you go roll and, you know, pull against one team, and actually pulling against both, but, you know, trying to figure out who the lesser of the two evils were as rivals. And just the community as a whole, even back then, it really felt like home. You know, you could go to somebody else's ball game with your gear on, and, you know, everybody was just appreciative that you were taking time out of your busy schedule to come watch their squad play.
Hard to communicate to this generation what Friday nights were like back in those days. Regular season games, all these stadiums that we go to now were absolutely sold out all across town. The whole student body went to the games. The community went to the games. We were talking about Frank Arnold here, like we said. There were people in the community with season tickets that didn't have kids in the school. And you couldn't get tickets because there were so many season tickets sold. And this place was as good as any across the whole state of Texas, man, in its heyday. It's time for our Rhino Roofers second half kickoff. Who knows if we'll see the same kind of fireworks? I bet not. But, man, it was a fun start to this game. Miles Davis back to receive it as Ethan Bromgard, our San Antonio Sports All-Star kicker, will get us underway here in the second half. I'm sure the Rockets got an earful from Head coach Mark Soda going into the locker room. This one is kicked out of bounds. That'll draw a flag, and Judson will have better field position as we go down to Matt Roy.
Well, guys, like most of us, the coach over of Clemens was very surprised at the beginning of the game. He said that wasn't the game plan coming in, but he'll take 14 points in the first 45 seconds. However, he does want to take the air out of the ball in this second half. He wants long, sustained drives. He knows that was explosive that Judson's offense can be. So Coach JJ over there on Clemens, he wants to keep his offense on the field and keep Judson's offense off the field. That's the recipe for a win in this second half, guys.
Boy, Jared Johnson's one of the best. He's done a great job there at Clemens.
He really does, and what really surprises me, I guess I shouldn't say surprise, but how involved he is with the other teams and the other activities that are going on at his school. I mean, he just talks glowingly about his dozen or so years that he's been at the school, and of course the job that he's done and some of the players that he's had the privilege of coaching. He really is a treat. Both these guys are for sure.
High snap to Favela. Gives to Stanley, nothing there. Gets back to about the 1 yard, for about a gain of 1 yard.
Again, this Clemens defense, they're really showing out. Those big boys up front really holding their own for the most part. They've given up a couple of runs to Nate Stanley, and of course, no autopsy, no foul there. I mean, he's a really good player, and Favela, this guy, what a basketball player and quarterback.
Gonna swing it. Stanley in the flat, got a crease, got the sidelines, and gets a San Antonio Zoo first down with that great burst of his.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's swinging out. Looked like it was a lateral here. Indeed it was. And then once you get this guy in space, looky down the sideline.
Might be coming back. Penalty flag on the play.
Yeah, it sure is. I didn't see that.
So they're marching it back, and they'll spot it at the 26-yard line. That'll be second down and 15.
So yeah, not exactly what Mark Soto wants to see here to start the second half, where you've got second and long, but he certainly has the playmakers to pick these yards up. Judson would really like to have a nice drive here to start the second half.
Favela looking, going over the middle, air-mailed it, looking for the intended receiver, Elijah Massengale. Crossing route, came to this side and had him open and just overshot it.
Yeah, nice play design. Just could not quite make the connection, so be a bit surprised to see him run something similar here on third down, because they were going to pick that up if they could make the connect.
Third and long. Favela under pressure, trying to get out of it, running for his life, chased, get rid of it. It's going to be short of the first down, but a nice completion at about the 38. It'll be fourth down and about 2.
This Yalowski's a heck of a player, 99 for Clemens. I know we've talked about it already, but man, this guy, not only big, but watch him stay after the quarterback here and darn near bring him down.
This is a good part of the field to fake it, you know? I don't think they will, but that's one of those good field position plays where if you have one, you call it here. They will kick it away. Low kick. Going to take a Judson roll. Good kick inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Rockets flip the field thanks to Elijah Massengale. The sophomore receiver is also one heck of a punter. We're back in 15 seconds.
Hey San Antonio teens! Are you looking for ways to share your voice, creativity, and ideas on ways to positively impact the community? Become a Project Worth Teen Ambassador. For more information, visit our website or call 210-207-8850.
All right, so we'll see what the Clemens Buffaloes offense can do with their first possession of the second half. Nathan Alvarez runs his squad out there. They're going to have to go 95. to San Antonio Zoo. First down, right up the middle, big contact, but pushing his way forward is Josh Jackson.
You're not kidding, Don. That was fire in the hall from Keelan Wells, the senior linebacker, just plugging a gap. Nice play on both ends.
Yeah, Jackson was able to continue his forward momentum, and even after the contact.
Glad he's back on the field because, I mean, Don, this dude coming in here with 400 yards rushing and 300 yards receiving. I mean, he literally is doing it all for these Buffs this year.
Second down and 7. Alvarez looking deep over the middle, double coverage, triple coverage, and it's almost intercepted. I thought for a second that Devon Larice had it.
Yeah, Larice doing a great job. Actually, all the Rockets DBs on this one. Remember early on in this game, Clemens hit the home run ball. They weren't having any of it on this one. 3 guys back there deep, and at least you get a PBU for your trouble.
Dangerous throw there. It sets up 3rd down and long. 3rd and 7 here. Alvarez has a man caught. They're going to mark it short. Thought his momentum may go forward, but it's going to be a full yard short as the completion was to Braden Avington, the senior. And that'll set up 4th down and 1, and Johnston runs out his punt unit. And again, the 5-star punter, Ethan Brumgard, his one punt tonight was low and right at Miles Davis. So he could easily flip the field here too if he gets off a good one. He had a spiral. He was just a low one. Let's see what he's got here. That's a good high punt, backing him up to the 45. Davis has it there. Davis dancing out of trouble. More trouble. Now cuts it up. Breaks a tackle. Look out! Miles Davis to the 30. Down to the 22-yard line. Had a 100-yard return early. And now another spectacular play by Miles Davis. First down Rockets when we come back.
And the whole team around him.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is sponsored by the Vietnam Army Grunt Museum.
First down for Judson now inside Clemens territory as Nate Stanley takes it inside the Central Med red zone by about a yard. It'll be 2nd down there at the 19 after they're knocking on the door on the red zone right at the 20. 8:44 to play here in the 3rd quarter. A Rocket touchdown here makes it very interesting. 24-14. If you missed it earlier, some electric. Starts right off the bat. 2 100-yard kick returns and a 75-yard bomb were our first 3 plays of the game. I would think that's got to be some sort of record.
I've never seen it.
Straight ahead is Stanley. Set up 3rd down and about 4.
I was texting with Ambrose Robinson earlier. He'd never seen it. So if we can find somebody that's seen it, we need somebody to reach out and touch someone.
I've been watching football 40 years. I've never seen it.
And it's funny how quickly the game is just kind of slowed down after all that, right? Of course, nowhere to go but down.
Stanley on a stretch. Gets to the 15. Shout out to Ambrose Robinson. Haven't seen that man in a long time. Miss him. You know, Justin, his grandson, was playing professional basketball in Israel and was able to get out of there just a couple of days ago. I was glad to see that.
100%. God is good all the time.
Justin played at Duke. He's now playing overseas. Here's a field goal attempt. High snap, and it's blocked. Ball's out. And doesn't matter who recovered. It's going to be Clemens football right there at the 24.
That's a big play. Another special teams standout performance tonight by both of these teams, but this time Clemens gets one, taking advantage of the high snap. Judson's kicker's really good too. He's got the wind at his back, and wow, look at that. Somebody flying through and coming through unblocked.
Number 8 for the Clemens Buffaloes.
Savion Jordan flying through, and Superman say, oh, yeah.
Nice play.
He almost picked it off in midair.
Chris Kaffa's informing me that the last time we had these two, Clemens blocked a punt and took it back for a touchdown. So it's first down for the Buffaloes. Handoff bouncing this way to the outside. Jackson tripped up around the 32-yard line. He thought he had a chance to pop it and was brought down from behind and comes up limping a little bit.
Yeah, he's been kind of battling through some stuff all evening long. And, you know, this guy, Don, was a DB last year. They had to kind of throw him into the running back position late. Ends up making all district. And, boy, really had some big games instantly for Clemens. We talked about his ability to play both positions, but this guy's actually played the wildcat position too, and everybody thinks, well, he's just a good runner, but he actually played quarterback as a freshman too, so literally a guy can do everything, including probably drive the bus home.
You know he can play hoops. Straight ahead handoff here is the young man who's already got a touchdown tonight, Raekwon Ruffin.
Great ball game, as you see, 9 of 10. I mean, jeepers, Don, we talked about this guy's completion percentage coming in, and what a performance so far for him.
It's a San Antonio Zoo first down. And across for a gain of about 5 is Raekwon Ruffin. Second down and 4 for the Buffaloes. And again, it's Ruffin, this time going nowhere. Judson snuffed that out, and that'll bring up third down after a loss of 1. Good pursuit there by Michael Woods, the senior linebacker. He's one of those athletes, Chuck, that recruiters are very high on.
Yeah, well, we talked about all these guys. There's about a half dozen that all D1ers. Nothing short, never anything short of talented Judson. That is always the case.
On the rollout and sitting down on the job is Alvarez, and good job by the defensive pursuit there that made him have to settle here for fourth down. They'll punt it away. Back to receive this punt again. It's always, how often are punts thrilling? But when you have a 5-star punter and a 5-star returner, both being highly recruited. Miles Davis committed to A&M already, capable of doing fantastic things that we've seen. And there's a pre-snap whistle as penalty flags down.
Delay game. It's 5 yards.
Clemens not worried about that with Ethan Brumgard as your punter. He was all district last year as a junior. Caden Turner. San Antonio Sports All-Star. And of course, you heard David Chancellor talking with him at halftime as our scholar athlete. Yeah, and as you've seen tonight, Chuck, a heck of a receiver too.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's running really crisp routes. He's got great hands. What's amazing to me is, man, he's got that wind going right into his face, and he's kicked some low ones. But if you want to get some distance on these punts, man, you can't hang him too high. Not where he's at.
Angling that one away, smart play. Didn't quite get as much as he wanted. Judson will have good field position, about the 38 when we come back. 3:42 to go. Judson can make it real interesting if they score on this next drive. We're back after this.
We're at Clemens High School, home of the Buffalo, the dance team, the cheer team, the drum line.
It's a great rival. Always has been a rival. Even before
Welcome back. We were at the Clemens pep rally as well. Saw the Judson one earlier tonight. The Rockets have it 1st and 10. Favela fires into the flat. That ball's caught. And Clemens doing a good job there to bring down the receiver. Hey, look who we found. In the booth with us tonight is Clint Rutledge. He's the quarterback of your 1993 state championship anniversary Judson Rockets. Of course, the son of D.W. Rutledge, who played on those legendary 92 and 93 back-to-back championship teams. Clint, good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Don.
Big night here in Rocket Land for both the 83 and the 93 team. You were part of that tradition. Of course, in 83, you were probably, elementary school kid, ball boy.
Yeah, I was second grade in 83.
And were you up here every Friday?
Oh, yeah.
You lived up here?
Yeah, I started off my career as a water boy and then graduated to ball boy. Stayed that way all the way till I started playing.
And, of course, you got to play for your dad. What a joy to win a state championship with Pops. And you and I were talking on News 4 earlier today. I asked you who the greatest player in Judson Rocket history was, and it's a pretty easy answer. It's this guy right here carrying the football, number 22.
Absolutely. Gerard was just phenomenal. Of course, I had kind of a unique perspective. I got to hand him the ball and then watch him go to work. Don't tell him I said he's the greatest one ever, but he definitely is.
Never forget that state championship game when he put up, we put up 3,000 yards his junior year. That ball's tipped and caught on the rebound. Oh, my goodness, what a play.
Man, unlucky.
You're unlucky for your Judson Rockets, man. That's a Clemens
play. I
play.
better get out of this booth.
Off the tip, Paul Mankey, we talked about him pregame. He's going to Duke. He's a 4-star safety, and look at him make a play on the ball.
What a play. Great tip.
Well, I guess you could look at it this way. It's a really good punt that's going to be downed inside the 1.
Yeah. Defense has to step up now.
Anyway, Gerard in the 2 state championship games. You guys won a state championship 52-0.
52-0.
And then the next year you win it 36-13 over Plano.
It's kind of like everything exploded in our junior year, because if you look at the history, in 88 they lost to Carter, and that was heartbreaking. 89 they were supposed to be really good, lost in the semifinals. 90 they lose the state championship by 1 point. So by the time we got there in 92, my dad was all in. First drive of the game, we get stopped on 3rd down. On 4th down, he runs a fake punt, and we didn't look back after that. It was it's like everything finally exploded for us.
I will never forget. There's your dad. People talk about running a hurry-up offense. You guys were able to do it and huddle.
Yes.
The military precision, the practice that took must have been year-round to be able to huddle, call a play, break it, get to the line of scrimmage, and run a play that fast.
Absolutely. Practices were brutal, because you can't play that way for 4 quarters if you don't practice that way for every snap during practice. So it was nonstop, hard work, but we prepared to play that way, and we knew by the time we got to the 4th quarter, teams were going to have a hard time staying with us. They were just too tired.
Covering football, Chuck, in San Antonio, we heard all those years, Judson has the numbers. Judson, they'd split the school differently. Their junior schools, 9th and 10th, and so they have more seniors and more juniors. But I remember going to practices all over town, and nobody practiced like you guys did. Helmets on, mouthpieces in, who were the guys standing on the sidelines.
Yep.
Cheering every play, the intensity from station to station. Yep. No water breaks, really. I mean, it was just. Was your dad that intense in everything that he did?
Growing up, it felt like that at times. If you weren't doing things right, it felt like he was that intense. But yes, practice was grueling. The games were the reward. Practice was where we really had to work our tails off to earn a spot and then to play the way he wanted us to play. It wasn't until later that I appreciated how hard those coaches had to work to make sure practice ran that way. But over time, it got to be a point where the seniors expected that. They knew that's why we were good, because of the way we did things. So the seniors bought in, so they expected it of the younger guys, and that was a tradition that just carried on.
Stay with us. We're going to take a break more with Clint Rutledge and fourth quarter action. It's still a good one, Clemens and Judson. The fourth quarter when we come back. Homecoming in Converse, Texas. Welcome back. Time for the fourth quarter. Let's take you to our Harlandale third quarter highlights, rather. Clemens blocked a field goal. Not a lot of scoring in the quarter. It's been a defensive battle, and then the interception by Menke. Very impressive play off the tip. And Clemens will have it here on fourth down and have to kick out of their end zone. So Judson with real good potential here. I doubt they will kick it to Miles Davis again. It was the last time they angled to the sideline, but Davis is smart enough to go over there and pick it up anyway and see if he can get out of trouble again. He's been a magician tonight. He's in jail here, but still just a man among boys, cutting through and getting down near the 44-yard line as we go down to Matt Roy. Matt.
Well, guys, even though it's homecoming, we're celebrating the 83 championship, the 93 championship, and the class of 73. You could hear a pin drop on this sideline right now, both from the players and from the stands right now. Everyone kind of stunned at how this game's going after that prolific 45 seconds that we had to open the game. I guarantee you, if Judson doesn't get something going now, we might not hear the crowd the rest of the night, guys.
Thanks, Matt. Judson with a chance here. Got the ball in good field position near midfield. As Clint Rutledge continues to join us here in the booth, it'll be a countywide service company first down. And Chuck was asking during the break, your dad had that famous whistle.
Yeah.
And look out, you were used to hearing that even as a kid. Here as Stanley pops one for almost 20 yards down to the 30. What'd you say about that whistle?
Well, growing up, I'd be out playing and doing stuff, and I'd hear that whistle, and it meant it was time to come home for dinner or come in for the night. And so then it got a little confusing. I'm kind of like Pavlov's dogs or something, He would whistle at practice, and I wasn't sure if it was time for dinner or time to do something different at practice.
Here's Stanley again up the middle. You were talking about the way your dad challenged coaches. One of the things that sticks with me more than anything I've ever heard was one time Mike Jinks told me a story. He had had a rough day, was in the coach's locker room, and was getting dressed ready for practice. And your dad walked up to him and grabbed him by the shoulders and spun him around and slammed him up against the lockers and said, "Those kids deserve better than what you're about to give them. Do better, get ready to serve the kids." And I always felt that was your dad's motto more than anything. Was he wasn't trying to win football games and pad his record and Hall of Fame, whatever. He always saw his job is to serve the kids that he coached.
Absolutely. His big saying that he would, whenever he spoke to coaches, was that if we get up every day to go win a football game, that's a pretty shallow way to live. But if we get up every day to go change a kid's life, now that's worth getting up for. And so everything they did, everything was intentional. It didn't matter if it was the monthly themes, if it was trying to get the kids to work hard or to push through adversity. It was always trying to teach them what they could do to be the kind of man.
There's the reward right there.
Absolutely.
Those guys coming back 40 years later.
Yeah, that was Nathan Vitus, Sean Klinsick. One
to
was
hug his neck. Your dad's
guy.
wiping tears from his face right there.
It means something, right?
That's so good.
Yeah, it was tonight. Paul Booker, just our star free safety. There was a time that he came and had to stay with us because he was having some trouble at home, and he was basically my brother, and he stayed with our family. And we just loved on him, and my parents took care of him, and he took the time to tell my dad tonight how much that meant to him, and he wanted to make it clear that my mom got the message as well, how much her and the way she treated him meant to Paul.
Well, there's 1,000 stories like that, right? I mean, when you do what he did for so many years, there's so many lives that he touched, and I'm sure that's exactly what you heard just right there to bring the tears to his eyes is, Coach, I am who I am because of what you gave us. It's
good man.
Stuff.
I couldn't be more proud.
He's worn out emotionally right now. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Clint, we appreciate you coming to the booth, man. We'll be seeing if your Rockets can come back here with 10 minutes to go. Anything can happen in this game.
It can. I never seen it start that way, so let's assume it's going to finish fantastically too.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we thought we were the only ones that hadn't seen something like that. So a guy with some skins on the wall, it's nice to say he can say that too as we look at a home run attempt.
Even with Gerard Douglas, that was a home run waiting to happen just about every game. I mean, we talk about the playoff games, but regular season games, I mean, 3,000 yards in a season. There were times where you guys had plenty of one-play 80-yard drives.
Oh, yeah.
Where you just handed it to him and he was gone.
You know, and what people don't realize, too, is most of the time we were pulled out of the game midway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
So if we had played the full games our senior year, there's no telling how many yards he would have had. But we just were usually beating people bad enough that they didn't want to keep running him or running up the score.
What's Gerard up to these days?
He's working with the AT&T company here in town and doing really well. He's a great dad, great husband, and just you know, he's another great product of what this Judson program was all about.
Absolutely. I never forget I was at his house on signing day, and your dad came over. And there were some difficulties because Mama wanted to go to Texas and he wanted to go to Baylor, and she wasn't going to sign his letter of intent because he was underage. There was some high drama there for a while.
Yeah.
But it can't tell you the kind of kid Gerard was. UT had flown him into Memorial Stadium on a helicopter, landed him at midfield with his name on the Jumbotron and a video of him in high school, a big PA announcer, and just big deal. And I think it was Ken Ruffin was the running backs coach at Baylor.
Yes, Rutgers.
Yeah.
Yes.
He picked him up at that little bitty airport in Waco in his F-150 and drove him to George's.
Yeah.
And had a chicken fried steak. And that was the recruiting cell that worked best for Gerard because he was so low-key.
It was, and Coach Rucker has a heart of gold, you know, and Gerard recognized that because he's so sharp of a guy.
Yeah.
And Alabama flew him up there on a private jet. I mean, he got the royal treatment all kinds of places, but Baylor created the family atmosphere that he had at Judson and he wanted to continue.
Second all-time leading rusher behind Walter Abercrombie, and at his size to do that at the college level because he wasn't a big guy.
Yep, and he was a competitor. You know, his highest yardage game his freshman year was against Texas.
Wow.
There was a reason for that.
Did it make Mom mad?
I don't think he liked Texas a whole lot either.
Hey, good seeing you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you.
That's real good. Tell your parents we said hi.
I sure will.
Not just your dad. Tell your mom, Kathy, we love her too.
I sure will.
All right, second down and long now for these Clemens Buffaloes as Judson trying to rally here on homecoming with all these great Rockets in attendance. They want to send them home happy. They're going to have to do something in a hurry here. Ball's complete. How about that timing, Chuck? See, and D.W. Rutledge, we're talking about him, and he's getting hugs from those guys that he had an impact on 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's Chris Kotvis and his crew and the magic that they work each and every week here on TNL. Always top of the line.
Brian Watson, his crew of photographers that we're so glad to work with every week, make this great product for high school football. It's 3rd and 8. That ball's completed over the middle. The ball comes out. That's Miles Davis on the defense. And he popped that out. Chuck, I read about him coming in, about his recruitment to A&M and his verbal commit and all that, but boy, he looks the part, and tonight on every play that we've seen him on, he's a man among boys. He's a beast.
He really is. And again, Nathan Alvarez with a pretty darn good throw for the Clemens Buffaloes, but they're going to have to kick it away here on 4th down. So at least we get to see Caden Turner kick it away one more time.
Tried to avoid Davis on the last punt, and Davis outsmarted him and ran to it. He's going to do it again this time. Oh, what a beauty of a kick. There's the 5-star. Little too good. Into the end zone. Judson will have it down 10 with 7 minutes to go after a booming punt by the 5-star Caden Turner. Welcome back. Time for our Texas Kidney Foundation player profile. Brett Valles, the senior offensive lineman. He's on the leadership council, 3-year starter. Man, be a 3-year starter at Judson, you got to be a hoss. It's a slant, caught. Good first down yardage for the Rockets as they need to move quickly here. They're going to need 2 scores with 7:08 to go. Mankey, the Duke commit.
Yeah, we talked about, some of the bloodline families that we've seen here tonight. I mean, his dad, listen to this, was Ryan Leaf's backup quarterback at Washington State and also played tight end. And I guess the story goes that the senior Mankey is a professor, came down here to teach at Texas State, got here, family relocated, and this guy pretty much had the pick of the litter too. I think Washington State and Wazoo both offered him.
Well, the key for him is between the ears. This one's going down to the 50, down to the 40, and tripped up the last man that could possibly get him, and that's Mankey. Otherwise, Derek Williams was gone, and what a play by Mankey.
You're not kidding. I think that this thing was destined to be housed, but Mankey, the very last second, comes up with a shoestring tackle.
Here's a nice collision right at the 30 on a countywide first down. The Rockets thought they had something cooking there, but it was snuffed out there by the defensive back, Xavier Jordan, who's made some big plays tonight.
Indeed, he has. I mean, he's really stood out. And again, tip of the cap to the Clemens defense and what they've done so far tonight, holding these Rockets to 14 points.
2nd and 11. Stanley has a gash up the middle, breaks a tackle, spins down to the 20. He's being tugged on, gets to the 18 inside the Central Med red zone. And the Rockets have life. 5 minutes, plenty of time. Can they score and get the football back and score again? They're going quick here. 5:30 to go. Stanley again, off tackle. Boy, he fights for every yard, but these Clemens Buffaloes are doing a good job fighting too. Here, flag down on the play. Backyard fight here between these two rivals.
Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. This is a goal. First down.
Yeah, Don, I mean, you talked about what these guys are doing right now, and obviously at a face mask penalty that's going to move this ball closer to the goal line for Judson. But Yalowski, Shashursky, Oleden, and Sanders, 3 juniors, actually 3 seniors and a junior. I mean, these guys are really doing a nice job for this Clemens defensive line here tonight. I mean, again, to hold this Rockets team down to 14 points this late in the ball game, they've had an evening. Got to finish it, though.
Fade route into the end zone, one-on-one. Receiver telling Favela, throw it up there, higher, let me go get it.
Yeah, ideally, you want your corner to turn around, but, you know, when Xavier Jordan has your receiver blanketed that tight, you know, all you had to do was throw up a shield.
That's a close one right there, man. Good coverage.
He did the wise thing by keeping his hands in the air so that he could show the referee that he wasn't grabbing or holding anybody.
Good job by Favla to get it out of his hands, stop the clock, and set up third down, because that was going to be a loss on the play if he did not release it.
Yeah, Leisher back in the ball game. He's got 49 tackles and a sack this year. Man, what a time to dial up a blitz. Judson did not see this coming, and Clemens bringing the house.
3rd and goal now. All right, you need 2 scores. Do you kick the field goal if you don't get it here? Do you have trust in the kicker after that first kick in the first half that was also into the wind? They do a little bubble screen. Nice one-handed catch, but Clemens snuffs it out. It's going to be 4th down and goal from about the 6. And it looks like they're going to run out the kicker, Douglas Tolliver, which would bring them to within a touchdown if he can convert. There's an injury on the field, and we will step aside for a second here. Chuck, let me ask you this. I don't know if you remember this. That's old heads really do. That's what makes this interesting, that this game, that the opponent is Clemens on this 30th anniversary of that Judson State Championship team, because we were talking about Gerard Douglas, the greatest player in maybe San Antonio. I don't know. He's close, but certainly Judson history. People as old as I remember that he was in the Clemens district as a middle schooler and transferred into the Judson district, and there were Clemens wasn't real happy about it at the time, and Gerard wasn't eligible until I think it was the 2nd or 3rd game of his sophomore year. So all these years later, 30 years later, it's Clemens, and I'm sure there's some Buffalo fans who would take great delight if they were able to spoil Judson's 30-year reunion.
Without a doubt. I mean, this is one of the most special rivalries in town, right? And I mean, last year, these dudes have played some epic ball games over the years. You know, Clemens felt like last year they were charging, they were coming back, they were an onside kick away from really making this one super interesting. But I agree with the call here, right here, to kick 3. I mean, you can't win the game here, but you can lose it if you don't get this.
The 29-yarder. High snap, kick is away, angling towards the right, and it got through on the left-hand side, the left. And so Judson has pulled to win a touchdown. It's 24-17, 5 minutes to play, high drama at Rutledge Stadium. See the breeze blowing here as these flags have been pretty stiff in the second half. If Clemens will have the wind at their back. So this would be a kick into the wind. Judson has all 3 timeouts, and they just need to stop this Clemens offense. And Chuck, I wonder, the way Clemens has kind of taken the air out of the ball and played slow all night, if not being explosive might come back to haunt them here if they need a couple of first downs. Would you think they'd be a little more aggressive here? We're back in 15 seconds.
Do you know a San Antonio teen in 7th to 12th grade looking for ways to get involved in the community? They can apply to be a Project Worth Teen Ambassador today. For more information, visit our website or call 210-207-8850.
So will they be a little more aggressive here? That's the question.
Yeah, I think you have to be, right? Judson's armed with all 3 timeouts. You got roughly 5 minutes left to go in this ball game. So, you're probably going to need 3 first downs if you want to win this football game.
It's first down, 5 minutes to go. Keep up the middle, good for about 2.5. Judson's going to save their timeouts. I would think till you got under 2.5. See if you can get a good stop here.
Right, and I think, again, there's a million ways you can skin this cat. However, when you hold them to, less than a yard on first down, you gotta like your chances here on 2nd and long.
See Clemens' mindset with when they snap this here, we're inside of 10 seconds. They snap it with about 7. They roll out, that's picked off! Judson coming the other way, down the sideline. Oh my goodness, we've got ourselves a fantastic finish. Isaac Chandler with the Oski.
I don't know if there was some confusion on the route, but Nathan Alvarez, who's played darn near a picture-perfect game, there was just no receiver there. At least he was able to make the tackle and not let Chandler house it.
I think he was expecting the receiver to cut that route off about 5 yards shorter.
That's what it looked like to me too. But this Clemens defense has done the job all night, and they've been put in a very difficult position here with a super short field for the Judson Rockets.
The Rockets look for some sudden change here. 3 split to the right for Favola. Instead, he hands to Stanley. He's got nowhere to go, cuts it back inside, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and as he has all night, fights at the finish and ends up going forward for a gain of about 2.
Yeah, have you ever seen more guys in a football game do more with less than some of these Judson guys have done here tonight, whether it's on special teams or just on a simple handoff right there? Again, you can't say enough about the job these Buffaloes are doing. They may not be able to get the guy down on that first crack, but they got guys in the neighborhood.
2nd and 9. They run the little bubble. And Clemens is there to snuff it out after another gain of about 3. Mankey stands up proud. It'll be 3rd down. We'll call it 7.
Well, I think, you're talking about 2 down territory now, right?
For sure.
There's no question. A field goal is not really going to help you. You may not get the ball back.
Yeah, my question is, at this point, why don't you have 13 out there on offense?
Right?
Stanley goes into the flat. They fire it to a man coverage. It's dropped. It's incomplete, not a lateral. Forward pass called incomplete. And it's come down to this.
Well, again, even if he catches that, I don't know if he's going to be able to make anything happen because Clemens has just got guys all over the field doing a great job staying home and protecting their zones.
And even if Judson doesn't convert here, it's still 3 minutes to go, and they've got all 3 timeouts, so this thing's not over yet, even if there's not a conversion.
Well, that was awfully close to being a lateral.
It's 4th down. Game in the balance. Favola sacked! Wow. Mankey. Nope, it's 3, not 31. The Clemens Buffaloes come through. Reginald Sanders breaking through for the sack.
Yeah, we thought Reggie Sanders was a really good baseball player. Apparently he can play linebacker too. What an unbelievable stop for these Clemens Buffaloes. I mean, it's apt that they get a stop when they get pinned in a game that's swinging in the balance after the game that they've played against this high-powered Judson offense. And almost every single time they have been man up for the challenge.
Phenomenal play there by Sanders, but again, 2:48 to go. Judson can stop it 3 times after every snap, so they could get this ball back if Clemens doesn't get a first down. Right up the middle, gain of about 5. And you can tell that Johnston wants to make a statement here. Soto not using that timeout just yet. And Clemens is going to be content to let this play clock tick. Still 20 seconds, so they don't have to snap it till about 2 minutes here on 2nd and 5 if they decide to. Come to the line of scrimmage now, and Alvarez just looks at the play clock and snaps it at 4. And now Judson's got to burn a timeout, and they do. And we'll take it with them. It'll be 3rd down with 2:03 to go. Judson trailing by a touchdown when we come back.
Nail biter time.
It is 3rd down and 4. 2:03 to go. Judson trying to get off the field. They'll burn a timeout if they can stop Clemens here. If the Buffaloes get a first down, This game's close to being over. Let's see if they put the ball in the hands of Joshua Jackson. They do. Jackson stumbles across the 30, and he's got the first down. The second effort by Joshua Jackson. They had him dead to rights, and even Gimpy, he turned, lunged, and watch him extend the ball with the right hand.
Yeah, he's playing on grit and guile. I mean, he's been nicked all night. He's falling and lunging and somehow manages to squirm his way for 3 yards. And if Clemens can just make a few snaps here, they're going to be in really good shape since Judson's only got 1 timeout. Not to mention a kicker that can punt it out of the stadium if you have to go to that.
We're back in 15 seconds.
Hey San Antonio teens! Are you looking for ways to share your voice, creativity, and ideas on ways to positively impact the community? Become a Project Worth Teen Ambassador. For more information, visit our website or call 210-207-8850.
First down goes for about 3. Judson takes its final timeout with 1:51 left in this ball game. And I'm not Mario Cristobal of the Miami Hurricanes, but I'm not a, well, did they not take a timeout? They did take a timeout. 1:51 is on the clock. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen, that Miami game the other day. And it's because of this. Their offensive coordinator was like me. He couldn't do the math in his head with 1:44 to go or whatever. So, do you take knees here?
No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. I mean, because here's the deal. They just burned their last timeout. And they're going to probably have to burn one here at the end. I think, you keep running the ball, obviously, but you got a really talented group of running backs. And it is pick your poison. You got a senior, you got a junior who's electric, and nobody trusts his players more, I think, than Jared Johnston. He'll make plays. He'll acquiesce to what he thinks is going to go, or how he thinks things could go on the recommendation on a player sometimes, but I think they're going to try to keep moving this football.
All right, second down. Ended up the middle. Stopped there, no timeouts. And we're at 1:44. They have 36 to snap it, so it'll be third down with right out 1:04. And so Judson could conceivably get the ball back with about 20 seconds to go if they can stop him here.
So the question then becomes for Jared Johnston is, do you now run a dive or some sort of simple run play, hoping you pick up the sticks on 3rd and 8, or do you play to win the football game, right? Take a chance and
I don't think
fake a run and see what happens there. And
I
if
don't
you don't
think you put it in the air because the clock stops. Your clock stops automatically.
Yep.
On an incompletion, you can have what happened on the last series, where total disaster and interception. You have to run the clock here. Now you can throw a very safe pass that you can complete, but an incompletion here is inexcusable.
Well, again, this is why these guys make their money, right?
Yep.
Because if you give Judson any time left on the clock, even if they're pinned inside their 5, you find 13 on a little anything, and anything goes at that point. I mean, this is really, really fun to watch how these guys play the game of chess. Glad I'm not them.
All right, it is time for our whale of a collision, brought to you by Beluga Air. And it was this one right here.
Tate had a fantastic game, didn't he? I think
Sure
we
did.
called Xavion Jordan's number at least a half dozen times tonight. He's done a great job in coverage. has done a great job tackling, and overall, to this point, the Clemens defense has been absolutely remarkable in this football game.
All right, let's see what Jared Johnston has planned here on 3rd down and 8. And it's Jackson, and he's going nowhere. And the whistle blows. And there'll be about 18 seconds left when Clemens can call timeout before they punt it away. And do you dare punt it to Miles Davis?
I wouldn't. There's no way I would. But I know this. If I was Judson, I'd have Miles Davis at least on the field for this however many possessions are left in this football game when they get the ball back.
Time for another Texas Kidney Foundation player profile. It's Cameron Owens, the senior DB. He's a 3-year starter and a captain. Also runs track. Had a nice game here tonight. And there's 18 seconds to go, and Clemens burns that timeout to talk about what they want to do.
And as we take a look at Owens and the career that he's had, this dude really, really physical. Obviously seen a lot of football. And boy, this has been a treat tonight, watching these guys line up and play ball, right? Almost
absolutely
position by position, team versus team.
Hey, got a great weekend of football on the CW. We got Louisville and Pitt ACC action Saturday at 5:30. Illinois and Maryland, and Notre Dame USC, 6:30 on News 4 on Saturday night. What a great one that'll be. Fox is full of football on Saturday, including number 2 Michigan, and a big Pac-12 showdown between UCLA and Oregon State. That's on Fox. And then Sunday, we've got the Texans for you on Fox, part of a doubleheader with the Jets and Eagles as the second game. And on Sunday Night Football, the Giants and Bills, the Battle of New York.
Man, how about the Saints putting it on the Patriots like they did? Shut those guys out after the Cowboys beat them up physically the week before.
And if you're wondering, the Cowboys are playing on Monday Night Football. That's why they're not on our family of stations this weekend. But the Astros and Rangers are.
Sunday night at 7, game 1. Come and take it.
This is where having a 5-star punter really helps you out, because this guy's capable of putting it down to about the 5-yard line with 12 seconds to go in the game. High snap. And good kick. Going to bounce inside the 5, and it gets into the end zone. And there will be 8 seconds to go with Judson having the football at their own 20.
Boy, that got a little dicey on that one, didn't it? And for a lot of different reasons. You talked about the high snap, and then Judson had a guy back there.
Not just any guy either. Miles Davis, if he fields that, who knows what can happen.
Very good job all the way around. Caden Turner showing off his athletic ability and able to see angles probably better than most because of his ability to play other positions on the football field.
Coach Soto's going to have to forgive me. It's just the dad coach in me. I'm just telling you, if I had 13 on my team, I'd have him out there as one of my guys. I'd send everybody deep. I'd throw it to him underneath and let's see what he could do.
Well, he's at the bottom of your screen, partner.
Oh, he's out there. He's not going underneath. They're going to him, though, down the sideline. Tipped and knocked down with 2 seconds to go. But Coach Soto thinking like I am. That's the guy.
And Coach Johnston with 3 guys in the neighborhood, all there to make sure that there's not going to be any chance of 13 getting his hands on the football, but I don't blame him either.
Just send him on a crossing pattern underneath about 15 yards, get it in his hands, and let him do the rest.
You might have to do that because, again, Don, the wind is blowing, not gale force, but it's significant right into the face of these Rockets here as we wind down this game.
Last snap of the game. They run him across the middle. He's got it, but he's got Mankey on him, and Mankey rips it out. That's a football game. 2 star athletes, Manu Imanu and Paul Mankey, comes up the winner. And so do the Clemens Buffaloes. Spoiling homecoming for the Judson Rockets and this special anniversary celebration of the 40th and 30th anniversaries of the 83 and 93 state championship teams. What a great game. Great start. Battle all the way down the finish. It was fun to be a part of this one tonight.
Well, you're not kidding. I mean, the way it started, I think generally our feeling going in was it was going to be a track meet. You know, athletes all over the place. Defenses are going to be on their heels all night. And look what we ended up having, right? All the electricity from the offenses and the special teams in the first minute of the ball game, and then both teams settling in and the defenses both showing out very well tonight.
Time for our Ron Hoover, RV, and Marine play of the night. And just take your pick. How about the two 100-yard kick returns? Dupree and Davis. Spectacular start to this football game, and it lived up the rest of the night. Rocket fans go home a little disappointed. Buffalo fans happy to go to 2-0 in district play. We've got a lot more coming from Rutledge Stadium. We've got the Monarch trophies. We'll present the hardware to the player of the game and to Coach Johnston when we come back. 24-17 the final.
Tonight's broadcast of Thursday Night Lights is sponsored by Taco Cabana, the Gomez Law Firm, Steel North Star Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Centro Med, Enroll SA, Countywide Service Company, Dr. Drake Sleep Solutions, Christus Children's, San Antonio Sports, Valero, San Antonio Metropolitan Health District, Vietnam Army Grunt Museum, Beluga Air, Rhino Roofers, Texas Kidney Foundation, Air and Plumbing Today, Ron Hoover RV and Marine, Harlandale Independent School District, San Antonio Zoo, and Monarch Trophy Studio.
The Clemens Buffaloes are victorious in this big rivalry game, and they're with our Matt Roy for our Monarch Trophy presentation.
Yep, here we are, guys. The Clemens Buffaloes victorious tonight. Let's hear it. Hard-fought game. We had a wild start, a wild finish, a wild in the middle. It was wild all over the place. And I need one player up here, Mr. Joshua Jackson. There we go. We had 21, it's the definition of a bell cow back. 21 carries, 93 yards, closing it out at the end, some tough runs. Our player of the game, Joshua Jackson. And we do have our wonderful San Antonio Zoo rep as well. You're going to the zoo, you're getting 4 tickets to the zoo, my young man. Let's go. Thank you, Hope, appreciate it. So I got a question for you. I'll just throw that right here. We got a lot of things to hand out. Have you ever seen a start like the start we had tonight? Touchdown, 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 and then almost another touchdown by Judson coming back. So have you ever seen anything like that?
Nah, it was a crazy start, crazy finish, 2 touchdowns with only like 30 seconds played in the game. It was crazy.
Yeah, 21 points in the first 45 seconds, and then I think we had like 21 points the rest of the game. How'd you guys keep grinding away, mainly on your legs and on the backs of the defense here?
This is what we do. We practice all week. This is us. This is our team. We keep pushing.
Congratulations, my man. Coach, I'll get you up here. You take that. Big check, big check. All right, Coach. All right, Coach Johnson. Not your first time on TNL,
No.
But what a hell of a win. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that? I mean, it was just ups and downs, ebbs and flows.
You know what it was a complete team effort. I mean, offense, defense had the offensive back, defensive back, and special teams. Everything came together, and just super proud of these guys and the way they work. And we'll enjoy this one tonight and the weekend, and we're back to work. So
not too much, guys. We got school. Coach, you guys kind of had a roller coaster of a win today, but it was truly a 3-phase game, like you said. How does this give you confidence the rest of the season that you guys can win in all 3 phases and continue to win on the football field?
Well, you know, in our district, I mean, we got New Braunfels next, who's a great opponent, and then we got to go Toohey Central, who's good, and then you end with Steele at home. So, I mean, you just got to get better every day, every snap, and everything we do. And you know, we talk about it, and they know we want to get better as a football player every day on the field and better as a person every day. So if you can get better in all aspects of your life, you got a chance to win big ball games.
Is it kind of nice to win on homecoming here in Judson as well?
I'm not going
to.
I'm not going to say that.
Hey, I don't want to trip you up.
No. Hey, what's our job? Win. What's our job?
Win. There you go. All right. Well, winning gets you a trophy as well, guys. Here we go. Congratulations. 15th anniversary ball as well, Coach.
All right, we're back with much more of our post-game show when we come back. Those are good.
All right, we are here with the Clemens Buffaloes and our player of the game, Mr. Joshua Jackson. How are you going to celebrate?
Going to the San Antonio Zoo.
Yeah, we are. Let's go.
All right, Jackson, you earned it, my friend. 24-17, the final. Let's run you through our Harlandale Independent School District highlights from this one tonight, and boy, did it start with a bang. As Matt said, 3 touchdowns in the first 46 seconds. Christian Dupree went 100 yards. Miles Davis answered with a 101-yard kickoff return to tie the game at 7. We were about 25 seconds into the game. And then after the kickoff on the first play from scrimmage all night, Nathan Alvarez goes to Caden Turner. That goes 75. It's 14-7, and we still were north of 11 minutes left in the first quarter. Nate Stanley scored it, 1-yard touchdown here to make it 14-14. And then in the second quarter, it was all Clemens. Raekwon Ruffin from 20 yards, 21-14. They got a field goal from Ethan Brumgard. And there were some interesting plays down the stretch. Hey, want to send out a shout out to the Wisdom family. Bryce Strong, always a memory here in Converse. His jersey number 39, honored here with seat number 39, row number 39, the Bryce Strong orange seat. I saw Grandma Wisdom before the game here tonight, and Miles, Bryce's little brother, is on the JV at Judson.
Might be the best of the bunch.
Miles is coming up. I saw some video of him from the JV game last week. Our thoughts and prayers always with the Wisdom family. And we know that Bryce looking after all of us here from above. Next week, it's Clark and Roosevelt. As we move over to the Northeast District, that's going to be a fun one. Cougs coming off the Gucci Bowl tonight. Well, the executive producer is Dean Radla of Thursday Night Lights. Brian Watson, his guys in the truck, doing a great job tonight with a special anniversary edition for Chuck Mikatinik and Nick Funky Cole Medina up here in the press box. Matt Roy down on the sidelines. And the producer of this show is Chris Kotfas. He makes it all work. It's his show. We're just living in it. And he'll bring you another one next week on Paco Cabana Thursday Night Lights.